Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going through one of the most powerful, sacred times in the Christian calendar, Holy Week. Holy Week is the week from Palm Sunday to Easter Sunday, the day that we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Each day has a deep spiritual meaning and marks the key events in Jesus' final days before the cross. Let's take it day by day. Holy Week begins with Palm Sunday. Jesus entered Jerusalem riding on a colt, which in today's vernacular would be a brand new car. And it was a sign of peace and not war. People lined the streets laying down palm branches and cloaks, shouting, "Hosea! Blessed is he that comes in the name of the Lord." You can see Matthew 21:9. They thought that Jesus was coming to overcome Rome, but Jesus came to bring a spiritual kingdom, one that begins in the heart. Palm Sunday is the day of praise, but it also signals the beginning of Jesus' path to suffering. Next, we have Holy Monday. On Holy Monday, Jesus entered the temple in Jerusalem, and what he saw angered him. Merchants were turning God's house into a marketplace. Jesus flipped tables and drove them out, declaring this, "My house should be called the house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves." You can see Matthew 21:13. This day reminds us to cleanse our hearts, to make room for worship and not a worldly distraction. Jesus also cursed the fig tree on this day that had no leaves or no fruit, symbolizing spiritual emptiness. The next day I want to talk about is Holy Tuesday. Tuesday was a day of teaching and challenge. Jesus taught parables, answered questions meant to trap him, and warned against religious hypocrisy. One powerful moment is the Olivet Discourse, where Jesus spoke about the end times and the importance of being ready. "Watch, therefore, you do not know the hour in which the Lord is coming." See Matthew 24:42. He highlighted the greatest commandments. He highlighted the greatest commandments, to love God and others. The next day I want to talk about is Holy Wednesday. The betrayal begins. Also called Spy Wednesday. This is the day that Judas Iscariot made a deal with the chief priest to betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. "What are you willing to give me if I deliver him to you?" Judas asked in Matthew 26:15. It's a day of reflection, reminding us how easy it is to trade loyalty to Christ for something temporary. Jesus likely spent this day in Bethany, resting and preparing for what was coming, for he knew what was coming. And then we have Thursday, the day of the Last Supper. On Thursday, Jesus shared his final meals with his disciples. Now, what we call the Last Supper. He broke bread and poured wine, saying, "Do this in remembrance of me." You can see Luke 22:19. Jesus also washed his disciples' feet, showing the heart of a servant, and he gave the new commandment: love one another as I have loved you. John 13:34. Later that night in the garden in Gethsemane, Jesus prayed in deep agony and then was arrested. And then we have Good Friday, the crucifixion. Good Friday is the most solemn day of the Holy Week. Jesus was falsely accused, beaten, mocked, and sentenced to death. He was crucified between two thieves, and hours later, in great suffering, he cried out, "It is finished." You can see John 19:30. On the cross, Jesus bore the weight of our sin, offering forgiveness, redemption, salvation to anyone that believes. Though it's the day of mourning, it's called good because his sacrifice brought us life. And then we have Holy Saturday, the silent wait. Holy Saturday is the day of waiting in silence. Jesus' body laid in a tomb. His disciples were confused, heartbroken, and hiding in fear. But even the silence, God was still at work. Some believe Jesus descended into the realm of the dead, proclaiming victory over sin and death. You can see 1 Peter 3:19-20. Holy Saturday teaches us to trust God even when we don't see him moving, even when we don't see him in our lives. And then we have Resurrection Sunday, what most of us call Easter Sunday, the day of the empty tomb. He is risen. Then comes Resurrection Sunday, the most important day of the glorious day in history. The tomb was empty. Jesus has risen from the dead, as he said. He defeated sin and conquered death and opened the way of eternal life. He is not here, for he is risen, as he said. Matthew 28:6. That's what the angel said as he was standing in the doorway of the tomb that Jesus just walked out of. Easter, or Resurrection Sunday, is the ultimate celebration of hope, victory, and joy. Holy Week reminds us of the depth of God's love, the cost of our salvation, and the power of resurrection. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you understand Holy Week better, please like and comment and subscribe. Which day of Holy Week speaks to you the most? Let us know in the comments. Have a blessed and wonderful Holy Week.